The Story of Snapchat. My name is Jameson Saunders, and this is a brief story about how Snapchat got started, where it's been, and where it's going. So, our story starts with Reggie Brown. He had the first idea of a disappearing pictures app, and what he did was he came to Evan Spiegel, probably the most famous of the three who founded Snapchat. He came to Evan with the idea because Evan had prior experience in business. And then Bobby Murphy is a programmer that they both knew, and they came to him and he said, "Hey, well, you have coding experience. Can you help us make this thing?" And 3 months later, they launched the very first version of Snapchat. It was called Peekaboo. And so that was July 8th, 2011. And then Reggie Brown was ousted from Snapchat, also known as being zucked in the startup community, from Mark Zuckerberg. He was ousted from Snapchat, and there isn't really a lot of information on why, but chances are it's probably because there wasn't that much for him to do because he was the person with the idea, and then the other two were either programming or, working on the business itself, and so I guess he probably found himself without much to do at Snapchat. But Reggie reaches out by email to Evan Spiegel, offering to renegotiate his equitable share of Snapchat. And what happens? What's his response? Well, the lawyers respond saying that Reggie had made no contributions of value and was not entitled to any share. Or he was entitled to a share of nothing, basically, because he hadn't really had a lot to do with the actual creation of the app, other than the original idea, of course. But Reggie Brown settles with the others for $157 million after convincing everyone for years and years in the courts that he was in fact the original founder of the idea. So he fortunately got to walk away with quite the handful of cash. So at this point there's really only these two founders left, and Evan Spiegel, the guy on the right, he starts positioning Snapchat as the solution to people being stressed out about unforgiving and permanent social media. Like when you post a picture to your Facebook account and then you have to go and untag yourself because you don't want your future employers to see that picture. Well, that's the sort of thing that Evan Spiegel says that Snapchat was meant to solve. Solving the unforgiving nature of social media. So our story continues and Snapchat starts to grow rapidly. After 1.5 years, there's already 20 million snaps sent per day. So that's a huge amount. And as far as their feature timeline goes, this is when they released each of these features. At the start, you could really only send disappearing pictures, which lasted between 1 and 10 seconds, and these were known as snaps. That was at the very start when they launched in July 2011. So you could send these directly to your friends, or you could post it on your story. Either way. Then in December 2012, they released video snaps. So instead of sending just pictures, now you could send up to 10-second videos. 2 years later, video calls and direct messaging were added directly into the app. Another year after that, they removed the feature where you had to hold down on the screen in order to keep viewing a snap. And so that way you would only have to tap on it, so it made it a lot easier. So you can see a lot of the value of Snapchat is in what they take away and how they simplify the app. A few months later, they added lenses, which are the augmented reality or the face effects that you can swipe right and left on the screen in order to, make yourself look like a cat, or now you can even change your gender, which is very interesting with these filters. Another year later, they added memories, which is the ability to save your snaps to your own private storage area. Finally, one more year after that, they added the unlimited viewing time option so that people could open your snap and then view it indefinitely unless they closed it. Here's a graph of the number of daily active Snapchat users, and these are in millions. So back in 2014, it was 46 million. Fast forward all the way to today where, it hasn't been doubling in growth or anything like that, but it's consistently been growing for the most part. And now it's up to 200 million daily active users, so still quite substantial. And there's been a lot of controversy about Snapchat and what it's worth. You can see that Its stock price here is pretty volatile, and I would say that's mostly because Instagram is, stealing a huge part of their business by integrating stories directly into the Instagram app. But Snapchat has a lot of things that Instagram doesn't, so we'll see where this goes. It looks like it's almost back to where it started with its initial spike, because you can see here that it opened at $15, which would be somewhere around here, but immediately after it opened, it spiked up to almost $30. And so you can see that, it's getting back up there. Over time, maybe we'll see. So that is the stock price, and this is Evan Spiegel, the original business person founder of Snapchat. He didn't have the original idea, but he made it work, which is probably honestly the hardest thing to do about any of this. So congrats to him and his success. Thanks for watching. My name is Jamison Saunders. Be sure to subscribe if you like videos like this, and I will see you in the next video.